everybody. Welcome to the Sharon and Joe Show. My name is Sharon.
Hi, my name is Joe.
So Joe and I are coming to you today from Joe's garage, as usual. And we just had a fun night out with the kids. And we're going to... Actually, do you want to talk about what we did with the kids? And then we'll go into our topic for tonight?
Yeah, I think it was last week you thought it would be a good idea. We never all went out to eat, together at once. And we've made dinners here and we've eaten as a family. But to kind of blend and merge our families together, we thought it'd be a good idea to go out and eat. So we did, and it was wonderful. Everybody has their own little schedule. The kids are on different grades. Sharon's schedule and my schedule are different. So to be able to come together and just spend some quiet time, and there's a lot of camaraderie and just I don't know the word you call it, but when you eat and you break bread with other people, there's compassion. There's just sharing. It's very intimate. And we got to spend that together as a family. It was cool.
It was awesome. I was really happy that we did that. It was great. We even went out for ice cream afterwards, so we were all happy with it. So it was good. It was a good night. It was fun.
I got to do my ice cream dance afterwards tonight.
Wait, I think I missed the ice cream dance. What's the ice cream dance?
Oh, when I was a little kid, I used to dance when I got ice cream, when I was a little kid. So I reverted back to my childhood years and did my little ice cream dance.
I missed that. You're going to have to show that to me later.
Oh, God,
maybe privately. All right. Well, from that, should we go into a more serious topic?
Yeah, let's tell everybody kind of what's happening in our journey away from that tangled web that we were in, what's going on with our divorces, how we handled things, maybe our attitudes, optimism versus pessimism, the challenges and the way we look at things, and sometimes the way we have to force ourselves to do things even though we don't want to or feel like it,
Yeah, it's been a little bit up and down. Joe's been through his divorce for a while now. He's been in it for quite a bit.
It's going on 2 years in June. And, I think the tough part for me was, it gets worse before it gets better in my situation. I went no contact, 2 years ago, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But I'm dealing with a psychopath, somebody that just wants to bring me down. I think they want to keep me alive so they can continue to torture me for the rest of my life, but they're really out for blood, and they don't care too much of the consequences if they throw themselves under the bus or not. She hasn't gone away. You know what I mean?
See, that's a good difference. I've been separated longer than Joe has, but he's been in the divorce process longer than me. But a difference between our exes, even though they're both narcissists, my ex, I believe, we'll see as the divorce goes on, he's actually concerned with how other people view him. Joe's ex isn't, and that brings a whole new element of danger into the situation.
Well, there's psychopathy, there is dissociative disorder, I believe. There's just a multitude of different, I don't know, man, just disorders that she has, mental illnesses. And then you couple that with, my codependency issues and breaking free of that and the bondage of my own self-perception and working on myself, then coagulated with that, man, it's been a rough road.
Well, the thing is, I was very frustrated yesterday, and Joe helped me through this. But, because I have my little court date tomorrow, my first one tomorrow, and this really pertains to the children. Well, I guess I have 2 children, but it's really the child because I have one minor child. But as I'm going through this, I was getting so frustrated because I was picturing my ex all on his high horse as if he's this dad, going to be doing all these wonderful things, oh, I'm going to go to this parenting class, I'm going to do this. I could picture him doing it. And it was really, really frustrating me because a lot of the things that we're going to have to go through are completely unnecessary because my ex has not been a father for ever. I was going to say years. It's really been ever. Even when, my pastor said this to me one day and it just struck me. It was almost like he slapped me when he said it. He's like, Sharon, you've always been a single mother. And I that's true. It really is. But specifically and completely and in all ways the last 2 years. So now it irritates me that now that we're getting divorced, he has a say in, I want to say my son's life. I know it's our son, but he has nothing to do with this child, not one thing. It's very frustrating. But I know what I'm really trying to say here is my ex cares what other people think about him. Joe's ex doesn't. I don't want to go into like too much personal information with her, but she really, like, it's shocking the things that she is okay saying about herself.
Yeah, there's no shame in her game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, yeah, it's beyond anything I've ever dealt with. I never heard anybody else that dealt with it either, like that,
No.
to that extent, man.
Well, it's most people have self-preservation. You don't want people to think poorly of you, and she's actually okay with it, and that makes a real level of danger with her, because there's, like with my ex, there is a line I don't think he's going to cross.
Yeah, there's a social norm they want to fit in, and they do value their reputation.
Yeah.
In this case, like, dealing with this kind of monster is like, there's no shame in her game. Like, she don't care, and if she'll take herself down,
Yes.
and throw you down if she has to. She don't. There's no regard for her own safety or security, let alone anybody else's.
And it's even like with the kids too, and this is the type of thing, it's very frustrating, it's very difficult, and I know a lot of you can understand this. You're trying to be a parent, and the other person, the other, quote unquote parent, actually doesn't care one bit. And if your child gets hurt, their child gets hurt, well, so be it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, it's been a rocky road, and we wanted to talk tonight a little bit about like some of the challenges that we have, and looking at the glass half full instead of
Yeah.
half empty. Sharon has a different approach. I think it's just the way her chemical makeup, her attitude, her personality. We all have different personalities. She's definitely good for me. I kind of err more on the side of my set point, especially being like a recovered alcoholic. Has always kind of been like egocentric in a way where I've been inward instead of naturally going outward and talking and socializing, helping other people. I have to work to do that as part of my recovery, but it's more towards like a pessimistic, like or I call it a reality with a lack of faith and like worst case scenario always in my head.
Yeah, I'm definitely the optimist in the relationship. I believe in optimism. I live that way. If I get down, I don't know the right way for me. I guess the best way for me to say this is it's unacceptable to me.
It just doesn't fit with you well, but the one cool part is like I want that. There was a point in time where I just told myself, there's got to be a better way. Like they call like the codependency in their issues like the second arrow, like the narcissist the first arrow. That's when it caused the wound. Now that that's gone and you're dealing with the repercussions of that and the scarring tissue of that, there's that second arrow, which was what the hell got me entangled with this thing in the first place. And if I was tricked, that's fine, but where's the excuse of staying with it for 20 years and taking the abuse? So you're trying to deal with that while in the meantime, after you go completely no contact, complete abstinence from that drug, I call it, is constantly coming back to try to sabotage your every move. So it's like you got in the ring and you got the wind like knocked out of you. Your ass got kicked on the ground. You're getting back up and you're kind of very hesitant. And then, it's like I told you, it's like watching that Rocky movie where Mickey's in the corner, just get up, Rock, get up. And you get up. And Rocky wins the next round or two. Like you get back in the ring, and then from out of nowhere, you get your ass handed to you again, and then again, and it's just like you keep just. So there's been days where it's just like get back up, like hold on to your job, keep breathing. But there was a time where I was tired. I just wanted to stay down, and we were talking about like, what's your why? Like the stars in the sky. What's your light? And I have to like look at points in my recovery from 2 years ago, where I was then, where I am at now. There's definitely growth. I have to do that, because if I don't, I'll think I'm not growing fast enough. There's something wrong with me, and that's just not true.
Oh no, you definitely have improved tremendously. It's very difficult. Joe and I, and this is the type of thing that keeps happening with Joe. Was it last weekend we were doing bills? We were doing bills recently. It was either last weekend or the weekend before. I can't remember now. And we had the stack of bills, and one in the stack was something from Joe's attorney. And we were assuming that it was going to be yet another bill, but instead of it being a bill, it was a postponement for his divorce. So he was expecting to go to court this past week, and instead now it got pushed back to June. And this is the type of thing that just keeps happening. Now, I'm right at the beginning of my divorce, so I haven't had this. Hopefully, this won't happen to me, but this is the type of thing. It's the frustration where you can, for Joe, it seems like this is never ending. And then for somebody who has like a predisposition to being pessimistic, this fits right in. Like, well, of course this is going to happen.
It's a tough thing to deal with. Like, it was a month ago, I found out after I did my taxes, they have she's been gone for 2 years. I went to file my taxes and she claimed my son just to get the extra money.
Yeah.
And it was just like, son of a gun, man. Does this ever stop? In a way, there's some humor in it because at the beginning, she told me how she got this high-powered attorney. And this is after we had a disillusionment. Things were notarized and she had a set sum of money and she reneged on it. That was a catastrophe. But how she got this high-powered lawyer and this and that. Well, the reason why it got postponed is that lawyer, my lawyer called me up. He said, Joe, the lawyer is temporary disbarred or something because of he has sexual innuendos with his clients. And I was just like, how typical. And this was, she was
high-powered attorney.
Yeah, that she was threatening me with.
Yeah.
It's just, when there's postponement and when you're, in my case, when I left the Narcissist, I was in no kind of financial, it was bad. Power getting off, 2 kids, 2 dogs, a cat, and her mother living with me, car stolen by her. That's like, okay, I was expecting a check from the government for my freaking money that I paid for my taxes back. I didn't get it. I had to file some notion and hoping that the IRS is going to audit me for the last 5 years. And then it's going to be, that means more money I'm sending out to a lawyer. And it's like, the longer it goes on, the tougher it gets because it's more money. And I'm barely doing it, So I have to, some days are a struggle, but I draw upon, and I don't feed off it like a freaking leech, but I look at things sometimes in this day is gray, like a black and white movie, and there's color from the flowers and the plants that we put in the house. My son has a smile on his face. The other one's doing okay. Your kids are good. Everybody's safe. The animals are doing good. It's sunny outside to just kind of catapult me enough through the day to say, hey, live to fight another day, man. Live to fight another day. And try to remember where you were. Like I said, it's not peaches and cream, but it's a hell of a lot better than where I was. My worst day, narc-free, is better than any of my best days with the Narcissist. And that's the truth.
Yeah, that's an important thing to remember. I'm right at the beginning of my divorce, and actually tomorrow is my very first court date. And I'm actually going to probably do a bonus video in the afternoon about what happens. My court date's tomorrow, and Joe was helping me last night. And, I had gone into this gung-ho, ready to go, this no problem. But now that it's actually happening, and, my ex he really does have a high-powered attorney, so it's constant threats. He's going to bring my son back to New Hampshire, and he's going to do this, and he's going to do that. And I was just the whole smugness of him. And then last night, Joe basically was doing all the work for me. As the computer open, my laptop open, he's doing it. And at one point he said to me, you're just sitting there with your arms folded. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's funny, guys, because there's certain hang-ups I got. So my hang-up a lot of times is having to pay the bills. The last thing that I want to do is look at my account because it's just it's tough to do, and to say that all this work and it's just not a penny's being saved. I didn't live that. I didn't work my ass off to live like that. You know what I mean? I worked my ass off since when I was 25 and I decided to get sober, and the gift of sobriety was granted me. I made amends for the things I did wrong, and I worked my ass off, and I appreciate everything that I got. And she took it all,
Yeah.
But there's certain things I get hung up on, when it comes to the bills. I need to, thank God Sharon's around. Before I learned to do it on my own, I learned about codependency and my issues and got right with myself and God before Sharon came into picture. But now it's I even need her to be okay, Joe, let's do it together. Let's just go ahead and get this freaking thing done. We'll take a look at it. We're here to help each other out. One of the things yesterday was Sharon was hung up on that packet that her lawyer got her, and she just kind of procrastinated on it until yesterday and the court hearings on Monday. But it's the little things like that we kind of get hung up on. It's the molehills they call them, that we trip on, and not the mountains,
I would just, it's kind of like when you were doing the bills and you just didn't want to do it and you put it off and you didn't want to do it and, oh, this is horrible. It was kind of like that with the packet of information I had from the attorney. Like, I didn't want to deal with it. My ex makes me sick, like just physically ill. I cannot stand him, just the patheticness of him. And I'm sitting here like, all right, you know what? I was the one I've raised the children completely the last 2 years. He's had zero involvement. And then some of you may have seen my video the other day when, I had read the email that he had sent my kids, just like the audacity of that, where even like when he signed it, Dad, it just, who is this person? And now all of a sudden I have to face him and pretend, because Joe's like, well, you got to play this game. You can't, because, at one point I had to check off something that said something along the lines of,
are you willing to,
yeah,
are you willing to compromise or whatever? So basically the court wants to make sure, because she doesn't know who's what, they don't really care. Like, is one parent restricting the other parent from reaching out, which you haven't been. You're not today, and you haven't been. And she needs to stay like, the formula is I over E, intellect over emotion. Like, she can't, like, calling him a narcissist, psychopath, it's not going to matter. The court doesn't care. They don't know. They just want to make sure, okay, is she preventing him from contacting his kids? And you're not, and you haven't been. So, we went out to eat today, and we wanted to talk a little bit about some of the obstacles and challenges. Obviously, we try to live our lives to the best of our ability, and we don't want the narcissist to hold us back. But everybody's in a different spot. Some people that listen are still with the narcissist. Other people, like, they're going wherever you're at. Like, what I did was, I have to look back at where I was. I had to have like this, because one person, them taking a shower, might be a huge accomplishment. Like, I've known people that have been so depressed they didn't shower for weeks. As disgusting as that is, they were so down. These are good people, they're just devastated, not only by the narcissist, but just baffled and completely bewildered. They don't even know their own issues yet. For somebody to take a shower and brush their teeth is a big deal, where I would be like, oh, hey, that's just kind of, but everybody's in a different spot. And what I tried to do to say is, I remember where I was 10 months ago when the only car that we had, she stole. I couldn't call the police. Well, I did, but because we're married, there's nothing they could do about it. She already had a car, and I had the kids, and they had to go back and forth to doctors. I remember the hypervigilance of every second of every day. I was afraid. I'd lose my job. I was afraid of this, and I'm not there now. And I have to be able to say, hey, you know what? I may not be moving as fast as I want to, and I may not be where I want to be, but I'm definitely not where I was. And my only goal in life was for my kid to graduate high school, to go off. He wanted to go into the military, which is great. And I did my job, as a father to both my sons, and I could die at peace. That was my goal, my dream, and now I got dreams of like, this eventually she can postpone all she wants. Like, I try to run away from my issues ever since I was a little kid. There ain't no running away from it. Eventually you're going to come face to face with it. So it's going to end. And when it does, there are realistic things that we will have, and looking into rebuilding our lives and getting a little home of our own, no matter how small it is or where we're at. And it's just, I could dream today, but those dreams aren't just made up. There's some realness to it,
It's incredible, actually. That was originally what I really wanted to do the video on was just the optimism, like, kind of, I was picturing just like if you picture the sky, right, like little stars in it, that each of those stars were things that Joe and I were looking forward to, happy, positive things. But, Joe kind of brought me back down. He was like, yeah, but even though we're thinking about those things and those are things that we want to do, there's also sometimes reality can be ugly right now while we're dealing with these divorces, because until they're over, they're not over. And for me, I'm determined that I'm going to get through this with a positive attitude. But even with me saying that, dealing with my ex, this is something I'm going to have to come to terms with, because it makes me sick that I have to do this. Like when Joe was telling me yesterday, he's like, Sharon, like you, because I there was a point, there was a part, and it said something like, are you willing to go through mediation? And I said, no, I'm not willing to go through mediation. And Joe's like, yes, you are, because if you don't, it makes it look like you're trying to prevent him from being with his child. And even though we both know that he doesn't really care about my child doesn't even want to be with him, I don't want him with the child. Like there's like this fakeness around it, but we have to play this game. And I cannot stand playing games. I cannot stand it. I don't want to be fake. I want to live my life. I am living my life, and here Joe and I were out with our kids earlier, and it was so great. Here we are, we're out to eat, and it was like this touch of what we wanted, and then it's like we come back home, and it's, we have to deal with like his ex, dealing with whatever crap she's doing, and now tomorrow I have to face my ex. So it's a battle. But we're determined to do it, but at the same time, there's a realness, and that's what we wanted to talk about in today's video.
Yeah, we definitely we want to be optimistic, but we're not here to sugarcoat shit. Sharon was just like, we were talking about the video, and there's a point in time where I always say it, like, you pray for potatoes all you want, but if you don't pick up the hoe and start digging, no damn potatoes are growing, no matter how much you pray. So there is some footwork. There's a point though, like, where when God says it's your time, when you're ready, it's your time, and when that window of opportunity comes, when that ship comes sailing, you have to be ready to jump on that moment of clarity where, I think the miracle's already happened. It's just our eyes sometimes are still closed. And when those eyes are open, you have to be ready and into action. And sometimes, as I said, it's like you have to act your way into better thinking. Like, the narcissist is gone, and you have all these other issues you're dealing with and trying to sort out, because that second arrow, like the part of your thinking that had you codependent, your low self-esteem, and working on that stuff, feelings aren't facts. And sometimes you got to force yourself literally to get up and do something. And for some people, if it's take a shower and brush your teeth, then God bless you, man. Like, but build upon that so that every day you're 1 foot farther away from that web of deceit. And that you could look back and say, holy crap, you could look up, you're at the top of the mountain, and you're like, man, I still got more to go, but look at the distance that you came. So there is progress, no matter how slow it may seem.
Well, that's the thing for Joe and I, we have our dreams and hopes that we want, and sometimes we have to remind ourselves, because it seems like it's taking forever to get where we want to go. But then again, like, if we think about how far we've come in the last year, I mean, Joe and I have only been together since last March, and here we are, we're talking about a future, and it's beautiful, and we know how blessed we are, but there's still things we have to overcome, all of us do. And that's really, we want to encourage you in tonight's video, that stay optimistic, be positive, but don't be afraid to accept some of the realities that you're dealing with as well.
It's okay. Like, it's okay to struggle. Like, it's part of the journey, I think. Just if you're doing something, if you're crawling, if you're moving forward in some kind of direction, sometimes you got to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But in the long run, when you add it up, you're still moving forward. Like, it's okay. I mean, be easy on yourself, but be true as well. Don't bullshit yourself. And, God, man, just keep putting 1 foot in front of the other, and just some days you hold on. But, I was told a long time ago, don't quit until the miracle happens. And I know a lot of miracles, walking miracles around me, and I've experienced that miracle before. And I don't want to quit. I've shared on your channel what happened to my mother, and she quit. And it was just, I remember that. And death is always an option, but it's a permanent option. So it's like, why not try? Like, yeah, I got to a point where I got like, I knew there had to be a better way. And I was willing. That's why we complement each other very well, Sharon, because you're very optimistic, and I love that. And it's something that I desire and I work towards. And, it's just, it was a God thing how we got together. It was by no means any self-will gone riot on my end or yours.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I believe that too. I know that. And it's a reminder, though, that there are tough days, but just like you said a little while ago, your worst day without the narcissist is better than your best day with the narcissist. Yeah. I was talking to Joe a little while ago, and I was telling him, he knows me now, how I am now where I'm comfortable in my own skin, where there's a level of freedom that I have that I love and I try to share on the channel. Because for me, what I have gone through, the way that I used to be when I was with my ex, he had me really believing that other people didn't like me, that there was something wrong with me. I mean, I believed this. And that's the thing, you know, like you're with a psychopath, somebody who wants to hurt you, and you believe things that aren't even true, but you live your life based on that. I have a level of freedom that I want other people to have too, because it happened to me. I know it can happen to other people. I didn't have any support, none. You know, I didn't have any family support. I didn't even have any friends. I was in a terrible state financially, but these beautiful things happened to me. And I feel like I want to talk about that on the channel. I want to encourage people because it happened to me. It can happen to you. And, you know, Joe and I try to live that truth every single day, but it's hard sometimes. And we're trying to be real with you. Tonight's video with a little update of what's going on.
I was telling Sharon a couple of days ago, it sounds like sad from a human perspective, but you'd have to go through it and be a part of this society of people that have gone through it. Like, had Columbus, his greatest accomplishment was crossing the Atlantic and finding a new world, and all these people. When I look at my life, the greatest accomplishment I ever had was divorcing a narcissist.
Yeah.
And I'm Christian. And I think what that entails is overcoming my codependency and facing my own childhood traumas. It's an incredible accomplishment to go no contact and to stay no contact and get rid of these leeches, because it's life or death. There's a lot of people. You don't hear of all the people that don't make it. Like, even after recovery and no contact, they don't get over like their own internal issues. They're still pointing the finger at the narcissist. Well, the problem's been out of your life for 5 years. Why are you so miserable? Yeah. They've never dug deep enough. And for whatever reason, it could be just, I don't know, but for the grace of God, go I. I'm not comparing myself, but it's like the greatest accomplishment of my life. It was when I met the narcissist. I had to come face to face with my worst fears, and I had to literally walk through a living nightmare.
The exact same thing happened to me. I feel that. And I think probably a lot of you guys do too. And I mean, it sounds weird to say to somebody else, like, oh, the biggest accomplishment of my life is getting a divorce. That sounds, what? What are you talking about?
It sounds horrible.
It does.
I think but however, in this situation,
it's overcoming. So it's not just that. It's what you personally, or I personally, all of us had to overcome, and it's huge.
It's so much bigger than the narcissist.
Transformative.
Yeah, you'll hear that all the time. It's like you'll never be the same.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and that can be a good thing.
Yeah, it could be.
Hopefully it could be
like
a bad thing. Yeah.
Your better version or even a new version. But you have to take in consideration too. For me, it was life or death.
Yeah.
It could have been real bad.
That's, you know what, I know it's a little bit different for you, but when you say that, I feel that. It was like that for me too. I was slowly suffocating to death under my ex. I mean, he was taking my life away. Though when I think back, I don't recognize that woman anymore. Thank God. But it's a horrible thing for all of us. It's just terrible. So I hope tonight's video kind of helped you understand where we are, and maybe you guys can relate to that. Maybe you're going through the exact same thing, and all of us can kind of nod our heads in agreement, like, yeah, this is how it is.
And it's okay, because the Shakespeare is saying, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
And as I said, don't quit before the miracle happens. But we're all here to kind of encourage each other. Like, we don't have, as I said, we're not here to blow smoke up your ass. Everybody knows it. There's days that are very difficult and tough. And it just takes a word of encouragement from a brother or sister who's been there, that you respect because they've been in your shoes. They get it. To say, hey, listen, man, if it didn't get better, I would have just given up. But it does. So just hang in there.
You know, there's two things I want to say before I ended tonight's video. One is that I will see you later on today, because I have the whole day off. I'm planning on doing a little update, just a little update on what happened with the court proceedings, which will be this morning, Monday morning. But also, Joe and I were talking about something that we wanted to do on the channel going forward. You know, Joe and I are both Christians, and I understand not everybody is, and that's fine. You don't have to participate in this that I'm going to tell you.
Or you can participate if you believe in prayer or faith. You don't have faith
that's true. Yeah, that's true. It doesn't. You don't have to necessarily be a Christian. But we're thinking about adding onto the channel because so many people in the comments or who have emailed me and have prayer requests or want somebody to pray for them. If you are somebody, if you need prayer, if you want prayer, if you would like to have us pray for you, please let us know in the comments, or you can email me. And what we're going to do beginning with the next video is at the end of the video, we're going to talk about, well, what should we do? Like prayer requests or?
Give us some opinions too, you guys. A lot of you guys, all of you guys are creative and smart. We were thinking about on the, like Sharon's homepage or whatever we got, to have that like a list.
Page,
on a community page, like a list of people that need prayers. It could just be your first name or anonymous. And then a way where we could update it where, if that person, like in their own way, shape or form, they're doing better, to let us know, because I think prayer is one of our most powerful tools that we have. For me, I don't necessarily pray for selfish things. When I got clean off of alcohol and drugs a long time ago, I learned I always ask God to get me out of trouble. So my attitude changed as far as like, okay, what can I do for God? Not what can he do for me? So when I pray, I just pray for people to like feel the presence of their creator and to know that they do matter, and just to pray for God's will, because it's always the best thing that's going to happen in our life. Other people pray differently, but we were thinking about getting a list, maybe at the end of the video once a week, just saying some of those names, fictitious or not, updating the list on Sharon's community page, and then I don't know, just kind of maybe if we could visually see like, wow, okay, he's doing better, she's doing better, thanks for your support, whatever. We could visually see the intangible at work.
Yeah. So does that sound good? Let us know, because I love to, add that onto the channel at the end of the video and update you. And I just think that would be a really positive thing. And Joe and I, we pray regularly, and we've seen the miracle of prayer in our own lives. And I just think that would be a great thing if that's something that you're interested in. So definitely let us know. And in the meantime, I will see you in a few hours. And Joe will hopefully see you next week. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I guess that's it. So thank you guys for watching. I know this is kind of a long video. It's one of those, just shooting the what. So I hope everybody has a wonderful week, and I will see you later on today and again on Wednesday. God bless.
Have a great day, guys.